We are getting ready to make the juiciest, the crispiest, golden brown fried chicken. Whew, oh my goodness, it is absolutely amazingly delicious. But before we get started, I have a whole chicken here that I'm going to cut up. You're going to need a couple of lemons because I cleaned my chicken, okay? If you choose not to clean yours, you do you. But here at Cooking at Pam's Place, we clean our chicken, okay? I will be also using extra virgin organic coconut oil to fry my chicken in. I'm not using any seed oil, no vegetable oil, no canola oil, no corn oil, no peanut oil, none of those, okay? If you don't like coconut oil or you don't like coconut or you're allergic to it, my next go-to would actually be lard. Yes, lard, because it is not a seed oil, it is an animal fat, okay? So those are my personal go-tos, okay? Now, a lot of people will ask, is this chicken gonna taste like coconut? No, it actually does not. Once you flavor up your food, I cook in coconut oil all the time now. Now, there was a point in time that I did not, but now I do. And I have found that if you season up your food well, not salty necessarily, just good seasoning on your food, it takes on the flavor of the seasonings and you will not taste the coconut oil. Depending on what you're cooking with it, you can smell it a little bit while you're eating, but your taste buds won't taste it. And then the scent is very, very light. So this is now my favorite go-to. As you see, I have a bucket of it, okay? I don't fry a lot or deep fry a lot, but I like to keep it on hand. All right. I will also be using my Pam's Prep all-purpose seasoning. You can use the no salt kind. You can use the fiery hot kind. I am using the classic kind. You're going to need some flour, of course, cornstarch as well. I'm going to be using mayo as a base along with my seasonings and a couple of other things. So let's go ahead, get our chicken cut up, washed, so we can get it seasoned and ready to fry. Now that we are all cut up, we're going to head to the sink to get our chicken washed. And this is another reason why you want to make sure you clean your chicken, because otherwise you may not see things like this. And yes, it's a feather. So we need to take that out. So if you take your chicken straight from the package and start cooking it, you're missing all things like that. Okay, now that our chicken is all washed and clean, we're going to provide our base. Some people may call it a marinade. It's just a base of seasonings, and I like to use mayo A lot of people will use mustard. I prefer mayo on mine. This is when you want to go in with a little bit of everything. Put all your seasonings in here along with it. We're going to actually massage this in. This is my Pam's Prep all-purpose seasoning. I am going to go in, because this is low salt, I'm going in with some Himalayan salt. If you don't want to use the salt, you can just leave it out. I am going in with some onion powder and garlic powder. Now you want to go in and you want to take your hand, get in there really good, and you're massaging all of those seasonings and that mayo into the chicken. Okay, this is going to also help your flour adhere, as well as the mayo, because it's vinegar based, which is the same with mustard. It has vinegar in it. It will also make the chicken nice and tender as well, and it'll keep those juices in. So you want it to look like this. You want it to be very well coated with this, okay? Then you want to let this hang out. You can actually let this hang out like this overnight if you want. The longer it hangs out, the more flavorful your chicken will be. But at least let it hang out for 10-15 minutes at the least, okay? I like to do that while my skillet is coming up to temp and while I prepare my flour mixture. So we're going to set this aside, and our next step is going to be our flour mixture. Okay, now we're going to combine our flour mixture. So you need flour, putting in a little baking powder, cornstarch, and seasonings. Make sure you always season your flour, whatever seasonings you choose to use for your base, for your actual chicken. You want to go in and season your flour. That way, when you bite into it, you just won't get this piece of crust that's tasteless. Every piece needs flavor, and this is how you layer your flavor. Make sure you whisk this to combine. Flour is basically white or beige, whatever color you want to see it. And if your flour does not change color, you don't have enough seasoning. So I'm going back in with more seasoning. Okay, it does not have to be completely a different color, but you want to be able to see the color in that once it is absolutely well combined. Okay, start to see that color in there. That's what you want. Keep mixing to make sure it's still well combined and that your seasoning is just not on the surface. Okay, now try your best to remember to use a dry hand and a wet hand so that you won't get it all messed up. So just take this, and as you see, it's not very wet. Okay, so it's not anything dripping off. Put it in your flour, coat it with your flour. Then we're going to put it on the tray and let it hang out. When you're doing the flour, make sure you shake off any extra. We are heating up our oil right now so that we can get this chicken fried. When you cook your chicken, do not put the chicken on paper towels or paper bags or anything. parchment paper. Don't lay it on there. You want to put the parchment paper, paper towels, or whatever on your tray and put a wire rack on top of it so that the side that's down will still have air circulating and it'll just keep crisp as it cools and not get soggy on that side because it's sitting on the paper towels. And when you're frying anything, make sure that your oil is up to temp. We're looking for somewhere between 350 and 360, 365 for this particular cook. If it's not up to temp, you're going to have sogginess and it's not going to be crispy. Also, too, after you get your first batch out, then when it gets time for your second batch, you need to let it come back up to temp, which might take a minute or two. So right now, we're just waiting for this to come up to temp. Okay, the last thing you want to remember is don't overcrowd your skillet. Okay, no matter how bad you want to get through quickly, don't overcrowd your skillet. All right? So just go in, put your skin side down first. And it should bubble like that. Don't drop it, lay it down. And make sure you are turning your chicken often so it won't cook too fast, too high on one side, okay? So turn it often. When your chicken begins to float, it rises to the top, then it should be done. You can check it with a thermometer, or if you don't have a thermometer, you can always pierce it in its thickest part with a thin knife and see if the juices run clear. If they do, you're good to go. Look at how nice and crispy that chicken looks. Golden brown all over. This is the time, once you take your first batch out, you need to let this oil come back up to temp. As you can see, I just took mine out and my temp is reading, it's going up, but it's in the 270s. We needed to get back to 350. So don't just drop your second batch in without letting your oil come back up to temp. You need at least get to 350 degrees on a thermometer. Ooh, we are all done. Doesn't this look amazing? Oh my goodness. Look at that, y'all. Let me get closer. Crispy, juicy. Look. This is a whole chicken that I cut up. Oh my goodness. This looks so delicious. Are we going to do our taste test? Oh my goodness. And a lot of people are always asking me what cookware am I using or anything. So this is what I use. And this is I can't pick it up because it's still hot and full of oil. But this is the Hexclad fryer that I just received recently as a gift. So Isabel, thank you once again. It's an amazing complete set that she sent me. And it cooked up really, really nice and really, really quick. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my kitchen. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 1.5 million subscribers. Returning subscribers, thank you so much. And channel members, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate all of you all. Okay. Ooh, look how crispy that is. Oh my goodness. Ooh, it's so nice on the inside. And it smells amazing. Don't forget, season your chicken when it's raw. Season whatever base or marinade or whatever you want to call it that you may use on it. I don't care if you're using mustard, whatever it is. Don't just depend on that item like I used mayo. Don't just depend on that item to season it. Whatever seasonings you're using, put them on each one. That's how you build flavor. Okay? Then again, do the same thing to your flour. And like I said, if your flour don't change color, you don't have enough seasoning in there. So add more. All right? And I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.